What's going on YouTube? Listen up, young elder gang. This is Dr. Charles P. Winston back at you with another banger. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video, fam. I hope this video get at least 100,000 likes. In this video, you will find history, definitions, scripture, information, and best of all, what we Americans have been deprived of from the beginning, the truth. Keep in mind, this content used in this video is intended for entertainment, educational, and informational purposes only. We will give you the total truth as we best understand it today. Be sure to hit that like button, young elder gang. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Hit that bell and don't forget to check back with us every day for new content. If your idea of the Illuminati is a shadowy cabal pulling puppet strings, you might be onto something. Let's unravel their secrets. Picture this, a covert operation so secretive it makes spy novels look like fairy tales. Operation White Rabbit, an Illuminati maneuver designed to control, manipulate and deceive. This isn't just hearsay. Whispers of this operation have circled elite circles for decades, from mind-bending psychological tactics to advanced technology that could render objects invisible. Yes, you heard that right. Imagine politicians and world leaders, mere pawns in a game orchestrated by unseen hands. A game where the stakes are global dominance and the prize, your mind. But why the White Rabbit? Think Alice in Wonderland, a journey down a rabbit hole where reality blends with illusion, a fitting metaphor for the Illuminati's grip on our perceptions. So, are you ready to uncover more? Stay tuned, because the rabbit hole goes deeper than you think. And remember, the truth is out there, but only if you're brave enough to find it. An Illuminati Grand Master once said that the world is a stage and we are all actors. 90% of the politicians give the other 10% a bad reputation. Each success only buys an admission ticket to a more difficult problem. Military men are just dumb, stupid animals to be used as pawns in foreign policy. America has no permanent friends or enemies, only interests. I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers. It is not a matter of what is true that counts, but a matter of what is perceived to be true. I would rather earn 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts. Good management consists in showing average people how to do the work of superior people. I always try to turn every disaster into an opportunity. And charity is injurious unless it helps the recipient to become independent of it. My brother and sister power is the ultimate aphrodisiac. An aphrodisiac is a substance that is believed to increase sexual desire, pleasure, or performance. Aphrodisiacs can be foods, herbs, supplements, scents, or synthetic chemicals. The task of the leader is to get his people from where they are to where they have not been. A country that demands moral perfection in its foreign policy will achieve neither perfection nor security. Behind the slogans lay an intellectual vacuum. Of course, this was not an original thought, but it certainly is a way of describing the Illuminati view of how the world works. The state is a fragile organization, and the statesman does not have the moral right to risk its survival on ethical restraint. If you win, you need not have to explain. If you lose, you should not be there to explain. I use emotion for the many and reserve reason for the few. Reading is not an end to itself, but a means to an end. To be perpetual, a peace must not merely be temporary, like a ceasefire, but lasting. To be lasting, it must have a solid foundation. To this end, Kant drafts 6 preliminary articles aimed at reducing the chance of war. Do not compare yourself to others. If you do so, you are insulting yourself. The man who has no sense of history is like a man who has no ears or eyes. Intellectuals analyze the operations of international systems. Statesmen build them. It is not often that nations learn from the past, even rarer that they draw the correct conclusions from it. The Illuminati has lots of mottos, but their main ones are annuit coeptis, which means favours our undertakings, and novus ordo seclorum, which means new order of the ages. Annuit coeptis and novus ordo seclorum are the official mottos of the Illuminati. There is this one that is Senoi Zela, which is like Sanskrit, and MD Vival on the bottom of the pyramid. But don't worry about it. It is nothing important because it can't be real, or it is some code. And in their website, the slogan of their website is, "We are watching out for you." The people of the world are an audience to which the Illuminati entertain with propaganda. Propaganda is a form of communication that aims to influence people's opinions, values, or actions. It can be used to promote a cause or to damage an opposing cause. Propaganda can use images, symbols, or language to manipulate people's emotions. It can involve exaggerating or omitting important information. Propaganda can use misleading statements or lies to create a desired effect. Where is propaganda used? Propaganda is often used in politics. Authoritarian and totalitarian regimes use propaganda to maintain the support of the public. During wartime, propaganda can be used to boost morale or as part of psychological warfare. Propaganda can also be used to sell products and services. Holy Roman Emperor Maximilian used one-sided battle reports to stir up patriotic feelings and influence the population of his enemies. Propaganda posters can be used to stir up emotions and drive a one-sided opinion. The darkness has never liked the light, yet many of the secrets of the Illuminati are locked up tightly simply because secrecy is a way of life. It is such a way of life that they would take out their own to keep the secrets of the orders and plans. Don't fear of the Illuminati taking over this country and doing away with the Constitution, because they took over this country long ago. And the Constitution has not technically been in effect due to presidential emergency decrees since WW2. Have no fear, but don't think for a moment it's going to be easy voting the Illuminati out of office. They control the major and minor political parties. They control the process of government. They control the process of information flow. They control the process of creating money. And finally, they control Christendom. They control most of the food processing plants. However, the universe controls the hearts of his people. History is important. In order to know where we are going, we need to know where we have been. To control the past is to control the present. The Illuminati's control over the entire learning process from cradle to grave gives them great ability to shape our frames of references. Long ago, in the dark, unwritten pages of human history, powerful kings discovered how they could control other men by torture, magical practices, wars, politics, religion, and interest-taking. These elite families designed strategies and tactics to perpetuate their occult practices. Layers upon layers of secrecy have hidden these families from the profane masses. They have ruled behind the scenes. The mystery religions each had their secret councils which ruled them, and these councils themselves came under the guidance of a secret supreme grand council or governing body. The mystery religions in turn ruled the masses and the political leaders. These mystery religions is coming down from the reptilian nomos and draconians. Mystery religions were secret religious cults in the Greco-Roman world that were reserved for initiates. They were characterized by secrecy, unique rituals, and promises of the afterlife. The Greeks and Romans got it from ancient Egypt. Mystery religions originated from tribal ceremonies. The word mystery comes from the Greek verb miein, which means to close. It also can come out in a play of word as my story and his story. He's always selling us history. Initiation rituals were required to join a cult. Initiates were called mystai. The leaders of the cults were called hierophantes and daduchos. Common experiences like meals, dances, and ceremonies strengthened the bonds of each cult. The Eleusinian mysteries, which predated the Greek Dark Ages. The Mithraists, which Emperor Julian was associated with. The mystery religions begin to go underground when the Christian Roman Empire persecuted them in the 4th century. The Emperor Constantine raised Christianity to the status of the state religion, which led to the destruction of pagan temples and altars. When seen in better light, wars between kings no longer appear as wars between elite factions, but contrived wars to control the masses by their greedy elite masters. But who are these people? The answer may not be the answer some might expect, because power comes in many shapes and sizes. Power doesn't have to have high visibility to be active. In fact, due to the evil, dark nature of these evil bloodlines, they have traditionally tried to remain secret. A mother of light said, "Power is a transitory experience. It is very conditioned upon the myths you are in. It is important that the person knows the myth that has been told to pull the wool over your eyes. They must have a feeling for it. The tangible can become the intangible." The Philadelphia experiment was an alleged event claimed to have been witnessed by an ex-merchant mariner named Carl M. Allen at the United States Navy's Philadelphia Naval Shipyard in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, United States, sometime around October 28, 1943. Allen described an experiment where the US Navy attempted to make a destroyer escort, the USS Eldridge, disappear, and the bizarre results that followed. The United States Navy is reported to have found out in WW2 in the Philadelphia experiment how to electronically make a force field around something that makes the object invisible. However, the experiment proved to be very dangerous, and it took them years before the technology could be applied to something safely. This technology is being used on the stealth bomber to make them both invisible to radar and to human sight. The new Air Force One and other high-tech aircrafts have this technology now. The second reason is that an ex-Illuminati member states that an experimental box the size of a bread box with controls was being used by the coven to make people invisible. The people had to stay where they were, they could not move around, but they were somehow made invisible by the box where they were standing. The Illuminati has this technology and are using it. Planned Parenthood. Federation of America was an Illuminati-inspired organization that was set up to accomplish several objectives. The organization's own stated purpose is very revealing: to provide leadership making effective means of voluntary fertility regulation, including contraception, abortion, sterilization and infertility services, available and fully accessible to all as a central element of reproductive health. Stimulating and sponsoring relevant biomedical, socio-economic and demographic research. Developing appropriate information, education and training programs to increase knowledge about human reproduction and sexuality. Planned Parenthood Federation of America has about 190 affiliated organizations and actively promotes its agenda all over the world. It operates about 900 centers in the US. It maintains a 5,000-volume library on abortion, sterilization and population control. The distribution of poisoned candy to American school children, which was an Illuminati plan on the drawing boards years ago. Has abortion, sterilization, sexual promiscuity, population control, and genetic research been part of the Illuminati's long-range plan? You bet. But it was important that the Illuminati convinced the experts, at least the experts they control, that these things were needed to save mankind. 3 studies were made by the elite to determine that a population explosion was threatening the Earth. The first was during WW2, the second at Huntsville, Alabama in 1957, and the third by the Club of Rome ending in 1968. All 3 studies concluded that population growth must be curtailed. Last year at a meeting of the elite are committed to stopping the population growth by any means available. Advocated a plague similar to the Black Plague, and when the idea was developed, it became the AIDS epidemic. The Illuminati have the cure for AIDS. Actually, there are many cures for AIDS, but the one they had before the AIDS epidemic began will not be given to the population until enough people die, or until the elite are exposed enough that they are forced to give out the cure. The National Security Council has had an ad hoc group on population policy to strongly encourage other nations to have birth control, abortions and sterilizations. This group drafted the Global 2000 report, which was given to Carter. Whether the population explosion is a threat or not, having traveled worldwide and having a father who was considered one of the better agricultural scientists, I contend it is not a threat. The world's elite believe it and they make the decisions. Further, they have a vested interest, an immoral need to believe in the overpopulation lie. MI6 was intimately involved in the creation of the CIA and Mossad, and MI6 is the guiding hand behind those 2 organizations. British intelligence was integrated under the title British Security Coordination, which was the world's largest and most powerful intelligence beast in the world. This beast has been under total control by the Illuminati since its beginning. Since 1940, when the BSC was set up in New York, the Americans have worked for the British. But the intelligence community in the UK, USA, Canada, Australia, NZ has gone a step beyond the secret intrigue of intelligence agencies secretly controlling other intelligence agencies. They have actually signed formal agreements which completely make all these acronym monsters into one intelligence agency. There is the Technical Cooperation Programme, TTCP, and the ABCA agreement, which concerns intelligence information exchange in the areas of defence research and development. The ABCA agreement concerns military intelligence. The Brusa Agreement on May 17, 1943, established exchange of personnel and the most intimate cooperation at the highest levels by the various national intelligence agencies of all high-grade comment. A secret treaty of 1947 linked all the major Commonwealth and American intelligence groups. This is just one of countless agreements, most secret, for the exchange of information. At that point in time, levels of secrecy were ultra, very secret, pearl, moderately secret, and thumb, secret. Pearl and thumb later became pin-up. On the 17th of February 1972, a National Security Council Intelligence Directive, NSCID-6, directed the NSA to be the principal US SIGINT agency, with the FBI and CIA basically working for the NSA. Although some people are claiming that there is friction between the NSA and its front organizations, the FBI and CIA, it is hard to picture that this friction is anything serious, because many people in these front organizations work for the NSA. The CIA, MI6 and the Mossad all worked through the BCCI, which was scandalized recently, although the elite kept the lid on the scandal. Together, the UK-USA intelligence community, or what is better termed the NWO's Intelligence Worldwide Intelligence Agency, of which MI5, MI6, CIA, NSA, FBI, NZSs, RCMP, SIS, ASIO, GCHQ, NRO, DIA, and the SASB are simply departments, have together at least 300,000 people employed full-time. Many ex-Nazis and elite industrialists have made their homes in the Garderen-Potten area of the Netherlands. The Bilderbergers are building a super hotel conference centre near this area. One of the companies involved in building the hotel is the Nazi family of Nachanias. The Bilderberg meeting is an annual off-the-record forum established in 1954 to foster dialogue between Europe and North America. The group's agenda, originally to prevent another world war, is now defined as bolstering a consensus around free market Western capitalism and its interests around the globe. Participants include political leaders, experts, captains of industry, finance, academia, numbering between 120 and 150. Attendees are entitled to use information gained at meetings, but not attribute it to a named speaker, known as the Chatham House Rule. The group states that the purpose of this is to encourage candid debate while at the same time maintaining privacy. But critics from a wide range of viewpoints have called it into question, and it has provoked conspiracy theories from both the left and right. It has been theorized by others that at the top of the Illuminati are unknown superiors with dark skin, so this should not scare anyone. I don't have all the details, and that the Black Hand family are the main controllers of the world. On the other hand, it is very hard to hide people who wield immense power. Truth is often stranger than fiction, but this sounds truly incredible. The UNESCO was passing NWO instructions onto them. UNESCO is one of the more directly controlled and more dangerous UN organizations. UNESCO is the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. It's an international agency that works to promote peace and security through cooperation in education, science, culture and communication. What does UNESCO do? UNESCO identifies and preserves cultural and natural sites of outstanding universal value. UNESCO's Man and the Biosphere Maybe program recognizes areas of ecological importance. UNESCO promotes sustainable development through work on water, biodiversity and tourism. UNESCO's Institute for Statistics, UIS, provides internationally comparable data on education, science, culture and communication. UNESCO's constitution was adopted in London in 1945 and went into effect in 1946. The United States joined UNESCO at its founding, but withdrew in 1984. The United States rejoined UNESCO in 2003. UNESCO's achievements: the Universal Copyright Convention, the creation of CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, the Pacific Tsunami Warning and Mitigation System. The Kellogg Foundation gives grants to Catholic universities. to research along the lines of Illuminati goals and a variety of other causes. For instance, a 1984 $100,000 grant was given to the American Association of Community and Junior Colleges. The purpose? To implement a national recruitment effort to enlist the support of government and corporate leaders to improve policies concerning adult education and training. Of course, as you know, most national government and corporate leaders are part of their power structure. So, of course, they, the Illuminati, would like these people in the decision-making process of our junior colleges. The foundation contributed almost $10,000 in 1984 to the Battle Creek Board of Education. That should give the foundation quite a bit of clout in the local school board's decisions. Many of the grants of the Kellogg Foundation are to promote things in healthcare and agriculture which are in the general trend of what the Illuminati is pushing for. Billy Graham's first 3 years of crusades was part of the Illuminati. Second, the Illuminati often adopt out their children to hide their paternity and ancestry. The Black Hand families are the families that control the Illuminati and the world. One of the best places to see representatives of the different 13 families together are when they gather for the Feast of the Beast. Beast Feast is an event that features wild game, fish or meat from around the world. It is an Illuminati meeting men's outreach event, a dinner series, or a fundraiser for the Illuminati, the Feast of the Beast, that occurs every 28 years and is attended by Illuminati leadership worldwide. It is a year-long ceremony where a bride is presented to Satan and he provides instructions to the Illuminati hierarchy until the next feast. Major Illuminati events and policy shifts have coincided with past feasts, such as in 1953 to 1954, and major changes are predicted around 2010. The number 28 is considered powerful in occultism and is connected to the ritual, with some sources claiming the next feast will be in 2009 to 2010. The Illuminati is the continuation of the mystery religions of Babylon and Egypt. The bloodlines of the Illuminati go back to people who at one time lived in Babylon and Egypt. Great Britain is the mother country of Satanism. Scotland has long been an occult centre. The national symbol of Scotland is the dragon, the snake, and for years the Chief of Scotland was called the Dragon. The Gaelic language is an important language for Satanism, although English and French are also used extensively by the Illuminati. The planning sessions for world takeover that some ex-Satanists experienced were held in French. The British royal family have long been involved with the occult. British MI6 has been a major vehicle for the satanic hierarchy working behind the secret veil of Freemasonry to control world events. British MI6 is the most secret intelligence organisation in the world. It is properly known as British Secret Service, not to be confused with the US agency by that name, but performing a different function entirely. The British royalty have served as important figureheads to British Freemasonry, lending credibility and respectability. British Freemasonry has managed to keep itself free of much of the criticism that the other national Masonic groups have brought on themselves. However, much of the credibility of British Freemasonry is undeserved. True, British Freemasonry is what it portrays itself to the public for the lower levels. The Masonic Society order called Rosicrucian in Anglia. SIC is only open to Christians and is a Christian order. The chief of the Societas Rosicruciana in Anglia, which show that the English Grand Masonic Lodge, the SRIA, the OTO and the German Illuminati are all working together. The Illuminati have refined the art of deception far beyond what the common man has imagined. The art of deception refers to the use of techniques to mislead or manipulate others, or to an art technique that creates optical illusions. The art of deception can involve using unexpected or unusual techniques to create a false reality. For example, in warfare, deception can include feigned attacks, false maneuvers, or misleading orders. Deceptive art can refer to an art technique that uses realistic imagery to create an optical illusion. The Art of Deception is a book by Kevin Mitnick that focuses on the human element of information security. In the book, Mitnick explains how even the most secure systems can be vulnerable to a skilled attacker. Deception is often done for personal gain or advantage. It can involve lying, which is when someone states something they know to be untrue. The very life and liberty of humanity requires the unmasking of their deceptions. That is what this video is about. Honesty is a necessary ingredient for any society to function successfully. Deception has become a national pastime, starting with our business and political leaders and cascading down to the grassroots. The deceptions of the Illuminati's mind control may be hidden, but in their wake they are leaving tidal waves of distrust that are destroying America. While the CIA pretend to have our nation's best interest at heart, anyone who has seriously studied the consequences of deception on a society will tell you that deception will seriously damage any society until it collapses. Lies seriously damage a community because trust and honesty are essential to communication and productivity. Trust, in some form, is a foundation upon which humans build relationships. When trust is shattered, human institutions collapse. If a person distrusts the words of another person, he will have difficulty also trusting that the person will treat him fairly, have his best interests at heart, and refrain from harming him. With such fears, an atmosphere of death is created that will eventually work to destroy or wear down the cooperation that people need. The millions of victims of total mind control are stripped of all trust, and they quietly spread their fears and distrust on a subconscious level throughout society. One problem about lies is that one lie will call for another, and then another. It's hard to keep lies single. They seem to want to breed more of their kind to protect themselves. Soon, the liar becomes a victim of his own lies, trapped in a dishonest web that demands lots of energy to protect his false fronts. This is the sad fate that the intelligence agencies have painted themselves into. They must maintain groups that oversee their double agents' lies to ensure that the lies that they have disseminated don't contradict themselves. Finally, they have put out so much disinformation they lose track of reality themselves. Far from saving this nation, the intelligence agencies have spread the cancer of deception into all walks of life, so that this cancer is contaminating and killing anything of value in the United States. The soon-to-come death of this nation's sovereignty, as well as the destruction of this nation's morals, are the results of this cancer. People who have attended high-level Illuminati meetings were instructed in how the Illuminati planned to bring in the NWO Antichrist reign by making everything appear as if it has happened naturally. The Illuminati have decided to camouflage their actions with the creation of normalcy to avert any suspicions. Camouflage can be found in both animals and plants in the natural world. It is also a technique used by hunters, military forces, and even fashion designers. Camouflage is the art of blending in with your surroundings in order to avoid detection. Keep in mind, they look like us, but they aren't us. Camouflage was originally used to hide military equipment and personnel from enemies. They like to blend in with their enemies. An example of something which appears to have happened naturally is the O.J. Simpson case, which was planned based on previous murder scenarios which had been successfully covered up. O.J. Simpson was a CIA mind-controlled slave, and the entire Simpson case was concocted as an elaborate effort to cause racial tensions. The Mishpucker, the CIA, the mob, and the Illuminati have all had their dirty hands involved in the entire affair. The entire affair reeks of manipulation and planning. The Illuminati drug smuggling operation within the US military during the Vietnam War. On and on the stink goes. The manipulation of history by those in power has been well covered over. An example of how mind control and its role in manipulation of events has been covered up by the perpetrators. A perpetrator is a person who carries out a harmful, illegal, or immoral act. A small percentage of underprivileged urban dwellers participate in many of the riots. The article's thesis is obviously a slide to prevent people from catching on that the small number of deviants who create riots might be under mind control, or might have some other motivation beyond simply being brain diseased. Any deception, whether it is an exaggeration or an understatement of the NWO's capabilities, is considered a useful deception for the Illuminati's double agents to spread. The German battleship, the Bismarck, was sunk due to a little lie sent to Germany by a double agent which underestimated the range of British radar. The Germans, thinking they were out of British radar range, made some bad decisions that cost them the battleship. Knowledge is power, and lies diminish the knowledge of deceived dupes, and therefore diminishes the power of the deceived. Deception obscures the alternatives that people have. It also clouds up various objectives people would work toward. Some people give up certain objectives due to their misperceptions that the objective is undesirable or unattainable. A force was MI6's group that carried out deception. They would have their double agents pass out chicken feed, which is what they call classified information that can be thrown out to the public, to establish their double agents' credentials, bona fides, as agents against the British. Today, there are numerous anti-NWO people who are actually double agents. They are distributing chicken feed to make people think they are legitimate. By the way, it is interesting to note, for those who realize how important carousels are to programming, that MI6 HO in Vauxhall Cross Eng with a training CTR at Fort Monkton near Gosport, so Engai, is nicknamed, actually its cryptonym, Carousel, by its daughter organisation Mossad, officially aka Central Intelligence Collection Agency. The intelligence agencies have their own lingo for the types of disinformation agents they send against everyone else. So far we have named only double and sleeper agents. Here are some of their disinformation agents. Agent of influence. These agents can be unwitting, under mind control, or ideologically motivated to use their positions of influence to sway the minds of others. Examples of agents of influence are anchormen on TV, journalists, Labour leaders, TV commentators, academics quoted by the media, and some politicians. Confusion agent, an agent whose job is to produce confusion by disseminating confounding information. Contract agent. These are the rogue agents, such as the mob, who the CIA get to do particular jobs on contract. Their connections can be denied. Deep cover agent, a sleeper agent, often a programmed multiple or person with mind control programming, who has been a long-term sleeper agent. Disinformation agent. This is a highly placed agent who passes disinformation to other governments. Notional agent, a fictitious, non-existent agent which is created with a real-looking identity to mislead. Provocation agent, an agent sent in to provoke and destabilize the target group to do foolish things. Spoon feeder agent, someone who dribbles out legitimate information. This is often done to build up a person's credentials, bona fides. Lots of the people who are pretending to expose the NWO are spoon feeder agents who provide a little new information, tons of already known secrets, and sprinkle in a measure of disinformation for added fun. Generally, spoon feeders increase their percentage of disinformation once they gain respectability. There are very few people really exposing anything of consequence about the NWO. This author has endured the loss of several of the really legitimate whistleblowers who were friends being assassinated since he began writing exposés. What this means is that agents for groups that do mind control have been sleepers for many years and look very legitimately innocent. They may give good, correct information to our side. They may say all the right things and try to get us motivated to do more than we would want. They may talk about other friends who are giving them information who do not even exist. It takes discernment to spot people who are not on our side. Unfortunately, such discernment seems to be fundamentally lacking within the public at large. For instance, I have seen people choose obvious NWO agents over this author as a source of information, which is in reality disinformation. Most people have bought so much disinformation during their lifetime, perhaps it's unrealistic to expect them to purge out all the junk they've accepted. Just as people in the world need to toss out their worldly thinking, people in the church need to toss out all the indoctrination they've gotten from the numerous kinds of harlot churches. At the moment, the system is set up so that the perpetrators of the mind control are in control of the credentialing process so that they can provide their stooges and agents with the best credentials. As the reader can see, the roots of power behind the mind control go deep. One trick, or variations of it, that has been used with suspects is to arrest them. Place the suspect in a situation where the police are in two groups. One group looks like police, the other group looks like the group the suspect has come from. After the suspect arrives, the group pretending to be arrested group members overpowers the police contingent and escapes to another setting where another police group pretending to be even more of the suspect's group ask him who he is and to explain his credentials. Letting his guard down, the original suspect explains what he's all about, thereby giving them the information they needed in the first place. Variations of this script can be run. English intelligence calls this basic script cackle bladder because chicken blood is used on the police actors that are overpowered to make them look injured. Four faces refers to pretexts used by agents to get interviews. Dangle is the craft word for luring a victim into a provocation. A dangle operation would be an operation to provoke a group or individual into a particular action. This was done with Elohim City and many other groups that the NWO is trying to set up as patsies. Agents use bleep boxes to tap telephones and in other instances to make free-of-cost telephone calls. A cabman is a device to remotely activate a telephone with a radio beam. It can be used without entering the building where the telephone is located. The use of masks in the occult world is ancient. For centuries, the gypsies have used them for their hypnotic powers. Special healing masks for their people are kept secret and never shown to the public. Masks have a shock value and fascination value. Gypsy and other occult groups have special rituals to create the masks, including using hair clippings from the person who will wear the mask. Gypsy healing masks are destroyed after the patient gets well. Illuminati programming masks may or may not be destroyed after their use. The Illuminati's mask-making abilities, according to deprogrammed victims of their mind control, are very high quality. Sometimes the programmers simply wear Halloween cartoon character masks that anyone can obtain to fulfill their role in the programming script that they are involved in during the time. Some beginners who have just started into studying the world order question why the Illuminati would use legitimate religious covers. Why would the Illuminati want to create a slave who is an evangelist? Why? Because those new converts will go to some establishment church where other programmed multiples in leadership positions will demand obedience, and then support those demands by quoting scriptures that make them seem like they are God's authority over that new convert. Because the evangelist or missionary and the bishop or pastor are controlled puppets, the convert will never get the full truth, just enough truth to keep him working hard for their organization. Even though the convert got God in my life, the Illuminati never lose control over him. The Christians have as much vested interest in preventing the exposure of the Illuminati-programmed multiples, who are big-name Christian ministers running Christendom, as the Illuminati has. Imagine what would happen if the world found out that most of Christianity was run by the human-sacrificing, slave-making Illuminati. This is one of the sad effects of the infiltration. Perhaps the subject of covers can be explained from another angle. The reader knows that the elite like monopolies. They play Monopoly for real. For us, it's only a board game. To establish a monopoly, you find a good product that everyone wants or needs, and then you eliminate all the competition by either destroying them or owning the competition yourself. In the US, the Illuminati can't have a one-religion monopoly. Communism had a monopoly on worship. In the US, they have established a monopoly by controlling all the various religious groups. It's not a matter of what they teach, it's a matter of control, so that the elite have a monopoly. And when you, as a mover and shaker in the world, control all these various religions via money, blackmail, and program multiples under your leadership, etc., which religion would you pick to emphasize the most? You will pick the one that sells the best, that is, the best product. And which brand of Christianity will sell the best? The televised charismatic brand will sell the best. Covers that slaves use to explain what they do in life are almost always legitimate. A missionary, a military officer, a salesperson, etc., will usually actually do their cover job most of the time. Their cover is their occupation. Their service as a mind-controlled slave is almost an unwitting avocation. Organizations are used as covers. The Illuminati use military, social, intelligence, education, banking, and other organizations as covers. See My Be Wise as Serpent's book for many of these. Mariah's front organizations, such as the CIA, in turn use other organizations. Here is just a sampling of CIA fronts to show the variety of fronts used. Asia Foundation was an academic organization created by the CIA. Castle Bank and Trust Company has been a bank in the Caribbean that is a CIA front. Forum World Features has been a front created for CIA propaganda purposes and based in London, UK. Air Sea Forwarders Inc. was the legal corporation name of a CIA front in North Hollywood, California. The company was involved in moving freight. In the last few years, this corporation sued E-Systems, the company which builds the CIA and the NWO's electronic systems, such as their communications satellites. In court, the company proved that it was a CIA front, in spite of CIA denials. As this chapter provides information about some of the Illuminati/intelligence connections to Hollywood, bear in mind that this CIA front was proven in court to be a CIA front in Hollywood, a feat that rarely occurs. For years I've heard many Americans say that something is terribly wrong in this country and that things are going to pot. And yet Americans can't put their finger on what exactly is wrong. When I first began to receive reports from victims of Illuminati mind control about Disney's involvement in their mind control, I kept an open ear, but I wanted some tangible proof. After investigating for myself, there is now no doubt in my mind that Disney, the man, the movies and the entertainment parks, has been a major contributor to the demise of America, while maintaining a very well-constructed front of wholesomeness. In this chapter you will learn why Disney is one of the best deceptions of the Illuminati. This author has read a good portion of what is available to the public concerning Disney. This expose is undoubtedly the deepest on Disney that has ever been done. Perhaps part of my motivation is that I've tired of Christians talking and acting like Disney stands for sainthood. Christians who should have known better are some of the ones who have swallowed, hook, line and sinker, the enormous deception that entails Disney. They feed their children a steady diet of occultism and witchcraft because they have been programmed to think of Disney as wholesomeness and everything that is good about America. Many writers over the years have tried to expose Disney. Most have been stopped before they could get their books published. The few authors who have managed have faced vicious attacks on their character and integrity and have faced enormous struggles against public relations campaigns paid for by the Disneys. The Disney's power and the power behind them has frightened most people away from challenging them, but someone needs to speak on behalf of the victims. Whether anyone listens or not, the victims will know that somebody cared enough to stand up and write the truth. Disney has not only left mind control victims in its wake, but they have harassed landowners, stolen employee ideas, and left all kinds of hurting victims in their path. Disney has risen to become the unquestionable largest media entertainment conglomerate in the world and was ranked company number 48 in the top 500 companies by Forbes 500. From the time of the Roman Empire, at least if not before, the oligarchical leadership, who have been in control of both the mystery religions and European aristocracy, have known about bread and circus. Bread and circus refers to the concept that if the masses of people are given entertainment and food staples, then they are easy to control. The powerful elite are very skilled at controlling people that rub shoulders with them, those who are beginning to become independently wealthy. Walt Disney movies have played a key role in providing entertainment for the masses to ensure Illuminati control. Because the Disney deception is such a major Illuminati deception worldwide, and because Walt Disney was the major catalyst behind all the Disney theme parks, movies, trinkets, etc., the Episcopalian Church, which is simply a branch of Freemasonry, all kinds of interesting mafia figures, Illuminati and Bohemian Grovers, live up the Sage Canyon Ard. On the one side was the Illuminati, and the other side of things was the Mafia, the Illuminati's Opus One temple owned by Rothschilds. Opus One is a winery in Oakville, California that's known for its Bordeaux-style wine. The winery was founded in 1978 by Robert Mondavi and Baron Philippe de Rothschild. The winery's architecture combines Old and New World elements. Members of the Disney family has the Illuminati's Opus One temple owned by Rothschilds, as well as 2 roads lined with meticulously kept wineries owned by Illuminati kingpins and connected via secret underground tunnels. To top off this incredible collection of Illuminati wineries, Muskogee County, a satanic-controlled county, and were Christian Scientists live. They lived in Tulsa, a powerful city of the Illuminati hierarchy. It is the old capital of the world. The Bank of Virginia in turn interlocks with a long list of companies. A large share of these companies have directors that tie back to the elite. Some of these corporations have directors who are members of the Pilgrim Society. Others are with other Illuminati organizations. If the entire set of interlocks and their directors were exposed, it might have an emotional impact on the reader. But it gets wearisome to the eyes to be stressed with so many lists, so I will dispense with listing other interlocks. Terry Sanford has worked for the Duke family as a director of the American Arbitration Association, which is an Illuminati front.